Welcome back everyone to phillipcarterxoffIcial, where I post more about menswear, men's style, men's lifestyle, men's skincare, and of course, perfumery. Everyone, in today's video, we have an amazing lineup of classic, mature, handsome fragrances for any man's wardrobe or collection. This is going to be a fantastic video, guys, and I can't wait to get into it. But before we get into it, I just want to mention, if you haven't subscribed, first of all, welcome to my channel. Go ahead and subscribe. When you subscribe, it helps me to create a lot more content for you guys at a faster pace. But I need you guys to comment, like, and subscribe this content because it helps me to monetize this channel a lot faster so that we can go ahead and give free giveaways and give back to the community. But I need you guys to help me out with commenting, liking, and subscribing. As you guys know, I am not sponsored or affiliated with any third-party retailer, so I do not have any active sponsorships, and all of my content would not be able to do or release if it wasn't for the help of my subscribers and the donations that are made to this page via my Patreon. All of my fragrances are bought via my funds and via the help of my subscribers through my Patreon. So guys, if you want to go ahead and take the extra step and check out my Patreon page, much is appreciated. It doesn't matter if it's $1, $2, $5, whatever it might be, all funds are reinvested into this channel to create more content for you guys. But I need your help. And again, everyone, anything and everything is much appreciated. Now, without a doubt, let's go ahead and get into it with today's video. Starting at number 5 on this list is going to be coming in from my favorite perfumery house. This is going to be coming in from the house of Guerlain, and this is Homme Eau de Parfum. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. This is a very amazing representation of a classic sartorial fragrance. Within this fragrance, you're going to find a very interesting accord that isn't used often enough, which is a mojito accord comprised of lime, mint or peppermint, and of course rum. A very, very big dosage of rum in this. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. And yes, you do get some cedar, vetiver, and patchouli as well, but it's that mojito accord which makes this so expressive. And there is a very effervescent, bright, and sparkling quality to this fragrance, which I absolutely adore. I do think that it is a game changer in regards to fragrances for spring and for summer, where you don't want to go aquatic and marine, or perhaps you don't want to go and do a fruity fragrance, as it might come out as a little bit too adolescent and a little bit too juvenile. I do think that this is going to be an amazing option for any of you gentlemen who want something like this. Fantastic. I do revere this fragrance in a topic that I call metropolitan, because this definitely does have a metropolitan aesthetic to it. Definitely makes me want to go to a rooftop bar and have this very contemporary feeling by the bar. An amazing option. Beautiful choice, guys. Let's go ahead and spray this so that you guys get an accurate impression of the pressurized atomizer. So let's go ahead and do that on my skin here. 1, 2, and 3. Beautiful. Absolutely phenomenal. Guys, you cannot go wrong with this. If you haven't checked out my favorite perfumery house, Guerlain, please go ahead and check it out. And this is one of the fragrances that not a lot of people like to talk about. Homme Eau de Parfum by Guerlain. I think this is a very gate-kept fragrance. Not a lot of people like to talk about it, but you guys are listening to it on my channel here, phillipcarterxoffIcial, and that's why you guys should be subscribed. Go ahead and subscribe. But nonetheless, guys, do check this one out from the house of Guerlain. Once again, this is Homme Eau de Parfum. All right, coming in at number 4 on this list is going to be a grandfather of oud fragrances, coming in from the house of Tom Ford, and I think you guys know what I'm about to say. This one's going to be coming in from the house of Tom Ford. This one is Oud Wood Eau de Parfum. Masterpiece. Classic. Now, guys, I'm well aware that this fragrance has been reformulated throughout the decade. Absolutely. This is going to be a lot more thin, a lot more lean in regards to the performance sector. So the projection, sillage, and longevity does take a beating. It really does. But the DNA is still there and it is lovely. Now, of course, for those of you who don't know, Tom Ford has been going through a political dilemma regarding the fragrance line of the brand, as the pressurized atomizer is just of horrible quality, and the caps themselves, which are just horrible. They're just this very resinous, poor material. It does feel flimsy, doesn't really feel quality, doesn't have that weight to it. There is a lot of room for improvement within the fragrance collection, but nonetheless, I do enjoy this fragrance a lot. Very professional, clean, mature, and classic smelling. Some of the notes in this fragrance are going to be agarwood, oud, Brazilian rosewood, cardamom, sandalwood, Sichuan pepper, vanilla, vetiver, tonka bean, and amber. Now, for those of you who came late to the fragrance game, like myself, we all missed the plane for the Tom Ford Oud Wood Intense Flanker. But the good news is that at the recording of this video for March 2024, there's going to be a release of Tom Ford Oud Wood Parfum. And that's exactly why I wanted to include Tom Ford Oud Wood within this selection for today's video, because I'm very excited to get my nose on that, as supposedly that's going to be a more dense offering, or a dense flanker for Tom Ford Oud Wood that has a lot more of a concentration on the amber and vanilla within Tom Ford Oud Wood. So it sounds very interesting, and I do want to get my nose on it and review it for you guys on my channel. But nonetheless, guys, let's go ahead and spray this on skin so that you guys get an accurate impression of the pressurized atomizer. Let's go ahead and do that on my skin here. 1, 2, and 3. So as you guys can see, it's not really the best of the atomizers, but let's go ahead and spray some a little bit more on the skin. Phenomenal. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm well aware that there are clones and dupes of Tom Ford Oud Wood. I'm not really big into the trend for clones and dupes. I do understand that, but I guess each man has his own taste, and it's up to your discretion, of course. But for me, I'm always going to recommend to purchase the authentic piece. 100% phenomenal, guys. Nonetheless, do check this one out. If you haven't checked this one out, Tom Ford Oud Wood Eau de Parfum. All right, everyone, coming in at number 3 on this list. We're almost there. Stay with me now. It's going to be coming in from the house of MONTALE Paris, or MONTALE Paris. This is going to be Oud Leather. Man, very, very sharp. Man, that is good. Now, the reason why I curated this next to Tom Ford Oud Wood is simply because of the concentration of leather and spice. So if you guys like fragrances like Tom Ford's Oud Wood, or any of the flankers of Tom Ford Oud Wood, this is going to be really good. I mean, an amazing option in regards to the actual fragrance itself and the price point, because this goes heavily discounted on discounter websites. An absolute phenom. This is a gem for any man's collection. For any gentleman looking to start his fragrance collection, or just to buy a fragrance in general, I do recommend this as a blind buy. It is very, very potent, very incredible as well in regards to the aromatic of this fragrance. This is a leather and spice fragrance. If you guys are like me and you love leather fragrances, this is very, very posh, very contemporary, very classic. This does have an enchanting touch to this. Lovely, absolutely lovely. Some of the notes found in this fragrance are going to be leather, agarwood oud, saffron, bergamot, cardamom, ambergris, and pepper. And let's go ahead and spray this on skin so that you guys get an accurate impression of the pressurized atomizer. Let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, and 3. Man, that's really, really good, guys. I mean, fantastic. If you're still hesitating to make the transition from fragrances that might smell a little bit more zesty or maybe a little bit more bright, and you want to get into darker leather fragrances, this right here. I mean, phenomenal. There's a lot of musk, there's a lot of leather, there's a lot of spice in here as well, but it doesn't go overboard. I think it's pretty tamed in regards to the actual aromatic scent profile, but performance is there, the price is there, and overall it's just lovely. And I'm a sucker for anything wrapped in gold, of course, so I had to get this one. An amazing option, guys. Once again, from the house of MONTALE Paris. This one is going to be AOUD leather. Okay, everyone, coming in at number 2 on this list is going to be coming in from the house of MATIERE Premier, and this is going to be Falcon leather. Wow, 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 absolutely. Now, I have to say, guys, at first, this was very challenging for me, even for someone like me who has more of a taste in leather fragrances. I like darker, resinous, leathery fragrances. This was pretty challenging to me, simply because on the dry down, this may come out as metallic and irony. So there's like this iron feel, this metallic feel on the dry down. Crazy stuff. But I do think it is a pretty good impression of leather. And now, of course, with this fragrance and the note breakdown, you're going to get a pretty dominant dosage of birch tar. There's that one note that comes out as very challenging to me. And if you haven't checked out my previous video through my Q&A session or my Q&A video, I go into a little bit more depth of the notes that I find to be more challenging. Definitely birch tar, because it has this very ashy tar smokiness to it that can sometimes be a little bit too redundant. But although it is to be found within Falcon leather, there is a time and place for everything, as I do believe, and the time and place is definitely met within this fragrance. But let's go ahead and spray this on skin so that you guys get an accurate impression of the atomizer. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, just interesting. Very interesting. The notes in this fragrance are going to be saffron, labdanum, birch tar, of course, benzoin, and agarwood oud. So simplistic in regards to the combination of notes, but it gets the job done. I do think this is a little bit more of a dry and dusty leather, but it has grown on me. And nonetheless, I do find this to be a dumb reach in regarding to just putting it on any day and just enjoying it to wear. Definitely growing on me, guys, and I do recommend this to any leather lover because I have smelled fragrances that do go overboard with birch tar, and it's just too much to handle. But this does have a quality component that does say rugged, but at the same time, there's a certain sophistication that comes into play once that labdanum and saffron start to talk to each other within the opening. But the dry down is fantastic because you do get a very sandy, a very dusty leather within the dry down on skin. I do recommend that you sample this first because this might be a little bit too overwhelming if you're not really familiar with fragrances or leather accords that have to do with labdanum and birch tar. It might be too much for you. Do sample this out unless you feel very bold like myself and blind buy this, because I did blind buy this. I do think this is a lot more for the seasoned collector in regards to collecting fragrances, or if you wanted just to smell interesting within a niche context, do check this one out. Once again, from the house of MATIERE Premier, this is going to be Falcon leather. And finally, coming in at number 1 on this list, everyone, is going to be a bit more of a challenging fragrance coming from a commercial designer brand. This one's going to be coming in from the house of Louis Vuitton, and I think you guys know what I'm about to say. This one is going to be Ombre Nomade. Wow. Absolutely incredible. Now, again, just brushing up on that topic of a challenging fragrance, for my day 1 subscribers, you guys know that rose is a very challenging note for myself. Rose and rose oud combination fragrances is something that I usually stay away from. And if you didn't know that, it's because you're not subscribed, so go ahead and subscribe. But this is very challenging, but nonetheless, it is a fragrance where I make the exception. The notes found in this fragrance are going to be agarwood oud, incense, rose, raspberry, saffron, amberwood, birch, benzoin, and geranium. So for those of you who say that there is no rose in this fragrance, my friends, respectfully, I disagree, because I can smell the rose a mile away. But the good thing is, it's not a rose dominant fragrance. On the dry down, you do get a lot more leather and amber, and it makes it phenomenal. And performance is second to none. I mean, this is nuclear, not beast mode, nuclear mode on my skin chemistry and on my clothing. If you get this on your clothing, it's going to be on there for the next week, without a doubt. Phenomenal. That's how I like my fragrances. A lot more intense, a lot more powerful, long lasting. That's why I got the 200 ml option. Lovely. And this just goes to show in perfumery, sometimes you have to kind of let a fragrance breathe, sit, kind of put it away somewhere, and then come back to it, and it comes out even better. And again, when I first bought this, did not like it. Actually sent it back to Louis Vuitton. About 6-7 months later, I rebought it, and I'm happy I did, because this was just lingering in the back of my mind, and I'm so glad that I bought it. And let's go ahead and spray this on skin so that you guys get an accurate impression of the pressurized atomizer. All right, and here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Pretty good. Pretty darn good. Man, perfect. Absolutely perfect. You get that sweetness from the raspberry. You definitely get the oud in the beginning. You get the leather as well. Now, for some of the oud fragrances that you get in Louis Vuitton, yes, of course, you get Ombre Nomade. Then you have Myriad, which is more of a rose and leather combo concentration. And then you get, I believe it's Pour Oud, which is at the $2,000 price point, which is something I'm not really going to be getting into, but I am excited for the new releases for the men's fragrance line, which is going to be Pour Santal and Pour Ombre by Louis Vuitton. So a lot of new stuff coming out, but nonetheless, guys, Ombre Nomade, a phenomenal option for any of you men who love fragrances like myself that have leather and oud. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And don't let the rose note detour you, because the rose does dissipate within the opening, and then you're just left with a very leathery and amber seductive fragrance. Very, very alluring. Now everyone, I do enjoy a very beautiful presentation in regards to the box and the bottle of the fragrance itself. A lovely, beautiful design found throughout the Louis Vuitton fragrances, but unfortunately, they switched over to the eco-friendly or eco-green boxes, which I think is just very unfortunate. But nonetheless, everyone, a very technical fragrance. I mean, very, very well blended to perfection. Once again, from the house of Louis Vuitton, this is going to be Ombre Nomade. Alright everyone, and that concludes the video for today. I do hope you enjoyed today's video, everyone. And once again, everyone, if you haven't subscribed, first of all, welcome to my channel. Go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, and subscribe, as this is the best way to support my channel and my content. And I would appreciate any donation that could be made to my Patreon page as well. phillipcarterxoffIcial is my tag on all of my social media platforms, especially on Instagram, where I come out as phillipcarterxoffIcial, where I post more about menswear, men's style, men's lifestyle, men's skincare, and of course, perfumery. As always, everyone, thank you very much for watching today. phillipcarterxoffIcial out. Bye-bye for now.